Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Central Virginia fishing report with Ethan Martin at TaleTellers Fly Shop. How you doing, Ethan?
I'm doing great today. How are you doing today?
Just trying to stay out of trouble. Seems to be a lot going on the weather front, and everyone's trying to figure out how much rain we're going to get with this new hurricane that's kind of coming up the East Coast this week. What do you see in Lynchburg?
Well, that's kind of the question here too. Is how much we're going to get, because I'm not a professional weatherman, but just from what I've heard them say, it could be maybe 3 inches or maybe less than an inch. So, seemed like the most recent stuff was saying we'll probably get rain, but it's going to be a little while before anything gets here, if it even comes here. So, my guess is that it's probably going to be like the same fishing conditions, like other than having a couple of little days of rain. But I don't suspect the river to muddy up or anything unless this thing comes through and we get obliterated.
Yeah, and I guess a little bit of rain would help, right? Because I imagine things have gotten low and clear, and so for smallmouth and muskie fishing, you want a little bit of stain in the water.
Yeah, you're right on. That's been the name of the game right now. It usually is low and clear on this time of the year anyway, but we've had good water flows. It's not crazy low, but it is crazy clear. So it's one of those things that's if you're trying to do muskie or smallmouth, either that stuff on the James or any of the tributary rivers, it's just you've got to. It's kind of like I don't know. You got to pick your days, right? Because I usually like a clear day for smallmouth, just because you can kind of pattern them and peg them that they're going to be up in the shade. But then again, I feel like on the musky stuff, that high pressure, blue sky days, that's not the day that you're looking for. But granted, muskie's going to eat whenever muskie's going to eat. So if you got the day to fish, then you go and fish. But pretty much everything that we did yesterday, which was all somewhat smallmouth oriented, was just long casts. And then in the morning, we used streamers, just kind of ripped them pretty actively and fast, picked up some fish that way. And then as the sun got higher, that's when, the fish could very clearly see us. we lost a large fish right at the boat. I mean, we watched him follow a little crayfish all the way across the river, all the way up to 3 foot of the boat, and the fish just wouldn't commit. And then it was he saw us and we saw him, and then it was gone. But that would have been a great fish if we could have pegged him. But so yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's just going to be clear, and if we could get a little bit of color, any of that green or blue, or even a little bit of mud, would be nice for the streamer bites, because that's pretty much all you're going to be going at. And then just pretty much deep is the next thing, because a lot of those fish, as the water gets cooler, they're not going to actively chase something as fast as they do in the summer. So a lot of it's just going to be that strip, pause for a second and just let that imitation or whatever that is, let's just say a streamer. So it'll just be a strip, pause, and let it kind of chill out, and just methodically covering water and watching your depth. And that's going to be the main thing. And then with the muskie, that's the whole other fun story. But same thing, you're not ripping flies back to you from the boat or from shore, wherever you're fishing. It's mainly going to be a little bit slower as the water continues to get cooler. Even though we have had some good temperatures, the water still is chilly.
Yeah, and I would imagine, too, that, it hasn't really kind of clamped down on you from a cold night perspective to really kind of help move those smallmouth and muskie to their wintering holes just quite yet, right?
No, not quite yet. The first fish we picked up yesterday, I mean, we started not even really that early. It was probably 8 or something like that. And we picked up 2 fish right away, and they were just in 2 to 4 foot of water. So they weren't even in proximity, a quarter mile to any of the large holes, so that you would typically see them in the winter. So they definitely haven't moved there yet. However, when we would float over some of those holes, we did see some of those bigger fish. So it's one of those things that's like they are moving into that stuff. Just it acts like a safe haven. But all the fish that we did catch were ones that were actively feeding, and so they were in, like I said, about 2 to 4 foot of water. So it's definitely not a time where I would just pass all that water up just to go to fish the deep holes.
Got it. And you're talking really more about smallmouth, right, than muskie?
Yeah, that's going to be the same thing. I mean, right now, most of the muskie are going to be still focusing on that deeper water. So that's one of those things where it's like for muskie this time of the year, any of that like big slack water eddies, that sort of stuff, they love sitting in that. So if that's what you're hunting for, then I would target that area right now. They're not going to be usually. Again, it's still fish, so each fish is different, but usually right now they're not going to be in that 2 to 4 foot range. That's more smallmouth.
Yeah, got it. And I guess, your trout fishing probably still really, really good with probably, right, your big changes. They're not looking up quite as much as they used to, so you're having to nymph more than your dry fly fishing.
Yep, you got it. And then we've got a lot of stock fish that have entered into a lot of the systems. They've done a lot of stockings, so the patterns and stuff that have been working, like you said, is mainly nymphs, mob flies, eggs, worms, pheasant tails, Frenchies, that sort of stuff. Has all been working well. It was pretty cool this weekend. There was like, I guess 5 or 6 people probably, that went out to get the Virginia Trout Slam and then all did it, except for, I think 2 guys. So sorry to them because they'll probably listen to this, but, so it was pretty cool just seeing how many people and how much opportunity there is to succeed at that, which is catching the brook trout, brown trout, and rainbow. So it's definitely something that, if you want to set a goal for yourself and keep your fishing interesting, then that's a cool one to do. And then a couple people, actually I think pretty much all of them, did an assortment of fishing wild fish places and then also stock trout streams, just to make sure that they do succeed. But if you want to travel, that's where I would say do the all wild one if you can. But that's going to be traveling down probably to my buddy in Southwest Virginia, Matt Riley, which I know you know him. There are streams around here where you could do that, where you could catch your wild fish, brook trout, brown trout, and rainbow. But those river systems, they're more rare that you're going to come across in Central Virginia. But it is possible. So if you wanted to know locations, though, that's where you'd have to just email me. Or stop in the shop. Yeah,
and I'll try to remember, too, to drop it in the show notes because we did an interview with Jason Hallacher from the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries, and they've got
I listened to that one.
Yeah, yep. Well, and they've got a great link where they literally kind of almost give you a roadmap of, to your point, where can you go and touch all the bases. So they'll help you out. I'll try to remember to drop that in the show notes.
Yeah.
And so, we love questions on the articulate fly. If you send them to us, you can email them to us, send them to us on Facebook or Instagram. If we read your question, I'll send you some articulate fly swag, and then you'll get entered into a drawing for something from the shop at the end of the season. And before I let you hop, Ethan, why don't you let folks know where they can find you, your hours, and all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, so the easiest places we're located in downtown Lynchburg, Virginia. So that is on the banks of the James River on Commerce Street. If you can't make it to the shop or if you just want to stay home, then you can find us online at TaleTellersVA.com. And then you can find us on all the social media things like Instagram and Facebook. And we're pretty active there on Instagram. And that's another way where you can send us specific questions as well. And I'm the one that pretty much answers all those. So if you have a question, then shoot it to Marvin. That way you can be aired the next time. But if you want like an immediate answer about a product or anything like that, then Instagram's a great way to do that. Instagram, Facebook, email, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep saying this. I've been saying this pretty regularly for the last 2 or 3 weeks that, folks, you need to get out and fish in November because when it's February and you're pretty miserable sitting at home, you're going to wish you had fished more before it got too cold. So get out there and catch a few, everybody. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Ethan.
Tight lines.